The Ambitious Radio Network. Conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders. Are you an entrepreneur, startup junkie, or just someone interested in improving their leadership skills? If you're looking to be motivated, inspired, and uncover what it takes to get to the next level, listening to Ambitious Radio will be well worth the investment of your time. We have weekly engaging conversations with today's most influential thought leaders and entrepreneurs as they discuss their successes, failures, tipping points, and other priceless information that you can apply immediately after listening. And welcome to the show. Good to have you right here. It is Ambitious Radio, hosted by our friend Doug Parker, talking about entrepreneurship and leadership while interviewing interesting people and what makes them ambitious. Now, you know the show wouldn't be possible without our sponsors, Grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system. You know, most of the time, small business owners need to personally guarantee any loans that their companies take out. That can be kind of tough to do if you have credit issues. So if you have less than perfect credit, go to RepairMyCreditNow.com for a free credit report evaluation. RepairMyCreditNow.com. Doug, what do we have going on today?
Today, we've got an international superstar. We've got a gentleman that is a two-time Olympic athlete that went from running on the track and jumping hurdles to now running CPN fraud prevention, leader for one of the world's largest economies. He's founded ClearSale, a small startup that has now become an international innovator in fully outsourced fraud prevention, and with more than 700 employees. He operates in Brazil and the U.S. and has global clients such as Sony and Walmart. Pedro, welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, it's very, very happy to talk with you, Doc, in this very special radio program.
Well, hey, I appreciate you. Now, here's what I'm going to have you do now. It's Pedro Chiamulera? Did I say that close?
Yeah.
Well, say it. Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect, man. Well, I love it to hear you say it because you say it's obviously so much better than I do. But, you know, in the intro, obviously you're an Olympian and you're a track or we're a track superstar. Obviously, you've matured a little bit and now are doing business stuff. It's interesting. My daughter actually is a 400-meter hurdler in college. And so She went to nationals last year. She's not quite an Olympian, but she's really good. And I was looking at your times, and one of your fastest, I guess one of your PRs was like 49 and some change in the 400-meter hurdles. And her boyfriend has the school record where they go to school, but his 400-meter without hurdles is about 48. So you were almost as fast as him, and you're doing hurdles in there. So
yeah, that's
impressive. It really is. But tell me a little bit about yourself, just personally, kind of growing up. And I know you said you had a big family growing up. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, my family is Italian family, and then I was the baby, 10 kids, and I was the baby one and I spoiled one. And I usually say that my father was an entrepreneur. He founded 2 cities, and my mother was an entrepreneur of people because she wanted to have 10 kids. Her goal in life was to have 10 kids, and I was fortunate to be the last one. And in my big family, I have a lot of affection, and some of my brothers, they were an athlete also, and this mixture of athletics and business, I learned from my family, from my father and from my mother, and that's I learned how to do business and to run track.
You know, that's very, very impressive. And you are from Brazil, correct?
Yeah, I'm from Brazil. Yeah, my grandfather was from Italy, but my whole family is here now.
Very good. Now, what all languages do you speak?
Oh, I speak Portuguese and English, Spanish a little bit, French, and Italian a little bit.
Oh my goodness!
All the Latin language. Just my English is kind of.
Well, hey, I promise you, your English is way better than my Spanish. You know, I can say "uno momento, por favor," and a couple things like that, and that's about it. Well, so growing up as the baby, you know, a family of 10. I mean, you know, that's you mentioned that you were the spoiled one, but you know, I'm an only child, so I'm on the total other end of the spectrum. No brothers or sisters. And, you know, I was spoiled as well. I didn't know it at the time. I just thought that's how life was. But, with that being said, talk about that. What was that like having, 10 brothers and sisters, and how many of each one are there?
Yeah, my older sister's like 20 years older than I, and I have like three mothers. My second sister was also my mother. Then I have a lot of mothers, and then I was very exciting because in a big family sometimes you're forgotten, and that's why I grew up like I had to do everything by myself, but I had a lot of affection. It was interesting. Sometimes the saying in our family was, the last one is going to be the last one. Then hurry, don't. You have to make up the things on your own. That's the two things. It was very typical for my family. It was a very Italian family. Everybody was hugging me, a lot of affection, a lot of love. But at the same time, it was a lot of, gosh, where is everybody? Then I had to find my way. That was a lot of fun. And then I learned a lot how to use this. You have to make your own way in my family. And now it helped me a lot in my business as well.
So you say you had to find your own way. So obviously as the baby, and you said your eldest sister was 20 years older. So through that process, you're the baby, and I'm sure everybody, were either picking on you or telling you how to do stuff, or whatever, or getting lost, as you said, kind of in the mix of all the 12 people in your family. So how did you determine that you were a runner? How did that come about? And then what got you into the jumping, the hurdling, and then how did you ultimately transition into the Olympics? Was it just something that you naturally were always fast, or what was that like?
Yeah, I was kind of, because my brother was an athlete, and he was kind of lazy. He was a pole vaulter, and he could break records, South American records, and he had this gymnastic in my house, because my house was kind of a big house. It has a very 4 floors, and he would just train at home. And just sometimes, and just by doing that, he went abroad, he broke the record, he was in the newspaper all the time, and I said, wow, if my brother got there, just doing that little, I can do much more if I train hard. So I was very disciplined to train, because my goal was I want to go abroad, I want to go to study in the United States, I want to go to the Olympics. And that, watching my brother was my inspiration, on the contrary, because if he could do that without training, if I'm going to train hard, I can do much better. I started to train. And then if my family, sometimes they say, Pedro, gosh, you're not going to compete. You just train. And I say, well, I'm going to get there. So I started to do my athletic life. And the one thing that inspired me very much was to watch the Olympic Games, the Moscow Olympic Games. Remember that the Misha, do you remember that the 1980 Olympic Games in Moscow? Mm-hmm. When I saw that open ceremony, gosh, I fell in love with the Olympic Games. Just to see that a lot of people doing that picture of the Misha on the stage there, and I said, wow, I want to go to the Olympics. And that was other thing that I got inspired to keep the fire to go to the Olympics very light inside me.
So as you see, you contrasted your brother and yourself, and one of the things that frustrates me more than anything in this world is when you see somebody that has so much talent and they just don't really apply it. And it doesn't bother me that they have a lot of talent and they're being successful. What bothers me is when they have a lot of talent and they're just not applying it. They're not maximizing it, because they could be, just world class at something if they would just apply themselves. And so I could imagine how you seeing your brother, that kind of motivated you to think, hey, I've got some genetics here. He's very good. I could probably be good too. But if I really apply myself and really practice, I can get to the Olympics. Now, have you found over the years, whether it's teammates or employees or anything along those lines, where you see that and it's, does that frustrate you to see people that have talent but they're misapplying it or just being kind of lazy or docile?
Yeah, that's kind of frustrating. Yeah, you're right. That's why I got motivated. I saw my brother was kind of lazy and I said, wow, if I'm disciplined, I'm going to go and do it. But sometimes when you see that around, it's very, like here in the company, what we do here in the company when we see people that is very talented, we give them more freedom to them to work, to find their way, and to talk to them to see what do you really like, what do you really love in life. And then if he's a really talent, we talk to him in a way that he's going to find his way. And when he finds his way, he's going to be, he's going to use his talent. But you're right, sometimes it's very frustrating because people don't realize that everyone has some kind of talent. Just have to find their way, the thing that they love, and they have to follow. And then I talk to people here. Sometimes they have this kind of outside success. Oh, I want to be rich. But what do you really love in life? Do you just want to make money, or do you just want to do something is fulfilling your life? And that's what the way I deal with my people here at the company. And we try, and then sometimes when the people they don't find their way, they're not after some time they're not going to be very productive, and then they go away. That's the way. I usually say that they fire themselves, because they come to us. They say, well, gosh, I think I couldn't make it. I say, well, then you have to other place to be happy, and that's the way it works.
That's great information, and I had a couple more questions I want to get to, but we're wrapping up this segment right now. So as soon as we get back from a quick break and a brief word from our sponsors, we'll be hearing more from Pedro and some of the things that he does that's ambitious in his business life as well as in his personal life right here on the Ambitious Radio Network. So if you like what you're hearing, you can go to Facebook, like us there, follow us on Twitter, and then also we will have show notes on ambitiousradio.com. So anything that's mentioned here, we will put on the show notes on Pedro's page, and we will go from there. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsors.
Could you lose your career because of your faith? Could your pastor be sued because of his sermons? Can students and teachers be punished because of what they believe about God or what they say? Can the government or even your employer force you to violate your beliefs? Get the answers, and if necessary, legal protection from First Liberty Institute. This is Kelly Shackelford, president of First Liberty. We're the nation's largest legal organization dedicated exclusively to restoring religious freedom in America. In fact, First Liberty's nationwide network of top attorneys win over 90% of their cases. We've won at the Supreme Court all the way down to the local schools. If you want hope for religious freedom, go to firstliberty.org and get your free In God We Trust window clean. That's firstliberty.org.
As we get back into the show, let's give a shout out to our great sponsors, all3reports.com. That's all, the number 3 reports with an S.com. Many people check their credit every 3 to 5 years when they're financing a home or maybe when they're purchasing a new vehicle. But if there is an issue, it could be too late to do anything about it. So go to all3reports.com to find out more. Speaking of a new vehicle, a wise person once said, lease what depreciates, buy what appreciates. So go to AutoFlex Leasing. They offer a better way to lease your next car. America's largest independent leasing company is AutoFlex Leasing. Doug?
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and today we've got Pedro Chiamulera. Is that good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Chiamulera.
getting better. Chiamulera. All right.
Yeah, you got it better.
I'm getting better. Maybe by the end of the show, I'll be able to say it the right way. So, this gentleman, Olympic athlete, unbelievable business person. And expanded his business, as we say here in America, the American dream, but he did it in Brazil and then expanded into the U.S. as well. And I want to talk a little bit about your business, ClearSale, here in just a moment, but I had a couple kind of follow-up questions to our earlier conversation regarding growing up and some of those things, but can you talk about maybe an obstacle that you ran into and how you overcame that? Because I know we talk about, going to the Olympics and successful business person, but people, a lot of times, they go through life. It can be depressing. It can be frustrating. You're going to have rainy days. And so can you tell us a little bit about maybe a frustration or an obstacle that you had sometime in life and how you persevered through it?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One very big obstacle that I had to overcome was when I was an athlete in the United States, and I was kind of sick for 3 months, and I went to the doctor, and I was kind of worried because I could not train. And then one day I came to my coach, and he sat down by himself and told me, Pedro, you are healthy. Go back to training. And it was unbelievable, Doug. That the next day I was healthy. I was fine. And I said, wow, our unconscious is very powerful, because sometimes you don't know what's going on. And you are your biggest obstacle. From that point on, I said, wow, I have to understand that I have my unconscious, my mind that sometimes gives me like a sabotage. I don't say if this is a word in English, but it tries to give me excuses for not me being my best. So from that point on, I said, wow, that thing works that way. I have to be prepared for that. At the same time, that was very frustrating because I was sick, but I was not sick. I said, wow, that's good because I know the way. And then from that point on, I started to think what I should do for me not to have the excuses, inside excuses, to succeed. And then I started to build a team, because I was always the time I was sick, I was kind of worried, I was hurt when I was an athlete. Before big events, I was always hurt. Then I decided, wow, I have to prepare a team so that I'm not going to have these excuses. So I had a physiotherapist, I had a nutrition, I had everything that could go wrong. And I prepared a very good team to help me so that I would be my best and you would never have the excuse, oh, I got hurt, I was sick because of that or this. And that was very, very good because of this team. When I was an athlete and I could do my best time, and I was in my last Olympic, I did my best. I broke 2 South American records. So this is the obstacle. The biggest obstacle you have in life is yourself. It's your mind. Now when I think something's wrong, I don't think about bad things. I just think that something is gonna go over. I am very resilient. I'm very optimistic, and I say, it's bad right now, like when I was hurt, but I'm gonna get better and I'm gonna go back to work. So this optimistic approach is very good, because when you're an athlete, you hurt a lot. It's you against yourself. You have a lot of things you have to overcome. But you have this approach to be optimistic. You don't see your failures. You see, oh, there was a mistake. I got hurt. But from now on, I'm going to do better. And then you feel that you start learning this optimistic approach. And then everything's gonna start to happen the best way, start happening in the right way. I think it was my biggest challenge when I was an athlete.
No, I love that, and it reminded me of a couple of books that I've read over the years, and there's one called The Secret. And, it's got some stuff in there that, I don't believe anything or everything in anything that I go through normally other than the Bible. But when you look at the Secret, it talks about, putting it out there, quote unquote, in the universe, and, just having a positive attitude and making sure that, you got your game plan and that's what you're doing. And it sounds like, you did a little bit of that. And then also you talked about obstacles and kind of how they were good, but you had to just persevere through them. And there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way that I just read, and it talks about, hey, you worry about the things that you have control over, and the things that you don't have control over, you persevere through them. You look at it as hey, you know what? This is sharpening my skills. I can't do anything about it. I just got to go around it, over it, under it. I mean, however I got to get through it, that's what I got to do. And so I love that analogy. Now, let me ask you this. How have you applied that perseverance and that positive attitude to your business life? Because I know with ClearSale, tell us a little bit about the company, what it is that you guys do, and then how you apply those principles to your business as well.
Yeah. Well, ClearSale is fraud prevention. We started as a IT company selling software to prevent fraud. But here in Brazil, fraud is kind of very bad because everybody tries to do something kind of the little way, just small way, try to get over the system. So we had to take responsibility more and more. We've been in this business for 15 years. Then we applied the technology. Just applying technology was not enough. And then I said, wow, if we don't do it the right way, nobody else will do it. We have to embrace this challenge so that we have to learn how to do it. So we put analytics. My partner, Bernardo, he's a PhD in statistics, and I invited him to come to company. I told Bernardo, how will we solve this problem? Because fraud is such a big problem here. And then we add analytics to it. And I said, wow, that was okay. But even that was enough to do a best result. So when was the last big challenge we overcame in the company was when we took responsibility for everything. Like in a country that fraud are voracious, we said, well, we have to do everything and we have to take responsibility for our results so that we can counterattack faster to this problem. Everybody told us we were crazy because we were an IT company with analytics and said, wow, we delete this last mile because to do risk management, you need to have more people to review the transactions because it's very subtle just to use technology. You need to have this human sensibility because fraud is something that's very subjective. So you need to have people looking at in the details what's happening. So by embracing that challenge, we grew a lot because we could solve the problem. And then in 4 years, we grew like 1,000%. And that business models was very good to prevent fraud because instead of selling technology, analytics, big data, scoring, we told the retailers, gosh, you don't have to worry about fraud. We will take over it, and you're going to be free to focus on your core business. It's a way we grew, but it's very similar in my athletic life because we had so many problems to reach this point, so many obstacles to overcome. But we said, well, if we don't do it, somebody else will do it, and we have to solve the problem for our clients. And this commitment to solve the problem, no matter what we have to do, we have to put people, we have to add more technology, third-party technology. We had with the clients to solve that big problem. So we grew a lot, and then we, looking back at here in our company, it was we have a lot of challenge because we didn't have money, we didn't have investments. We just had our word with the clients and our commitment to tell them our ideas that the best way to do it is this way. And then it was hard. We broke the company in 2005, but after the retailers getting to knowledge that was the best way, and they noticed that we were committed to really solve the problem. After that point, we started to grow to solve the problem. And then now in Brazil, we have like 90% of the market share because the way we do it's very efficient for fraud prevention.
Gotcha. Well, that's great information, and the fraud prevention has to do with like merchant accounts, credit card processing, and things of that nature, right?
Yes. When people takes your credit card and they use it on the internet, the retailer, if they don't see if the owner of the credit card is doing the transaction, they take out the risk if they have the chargeback. If the real owner of the credit cards, if they say I didn't do it, the expenses, the damage will go to the retailer. Then what we do, we protect the retailer from this problem.
Gotcha. No, that makes perfect sense, and I appreciate you sharing those details and the growth. Obviously you're a competitor, you're a hard worker, you're a talented guy, and you've applied those things to your business life as well. And it's no doubt why you got to that 1,000% growth, and it's always fun to be on a winning team and on a high growth and type experience. And what we'll do is right after another break from our sponsors, we'll dive in and talk a little bit about how you transitioned, from being an Olympian to being a business person, and how those transitions work for you, and then a little bit about maybe what's next right here on the Ambitious Radio Network. And so it's really great stuff for our listeners. I am just getting tons of stuff, making notes, and loving what I'm hearing. And guys, if you're liking what you're hearing as well, you can subscribe to know who is coming up on the next interview by texting the word ambitious. It's AMBITIOUS to 69922. Standard messaging rates will apply, and see the website for more details. We'll be right back after a brief break. Hey, ambitious listeners, you hear us interviewing entrepreneurs all the time, and there's a common theme. They want to be more productive and improve their communication. As an ambitious entrepreneur, you're always on the go. So turn your mobile phone into a business phone system with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. The Ambitious Radio Network recently partnered with Grasshopper to offer our listeners a special discount. Log on to ambitiousradio.com and click on the Grasshopper banner in the bottom right-hand corner. Get a new business number or keep your current one. Sound professional with a main greeting and multiple extensions that forwards callers to your mobile phone or others in your organization. Get a toll-free number or local number for your business with multiple extensions. Set up each extension with custom call forwarding to any phone in the world. Get your voicemails emailed to you as an audio attachment or transcribed an email. Keep business calls separate from your personal calls. Plans start at $12 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Remember to click on the Grasshopper banner at ambitiousradio.com for a special discount for our listeners. Join the over 150,000 small business owners that have stayed connected with Grasshopper. See how Grasshopper works? It's the entrepreneur's phone system. Turn the world into your office.
Back in here on the show, it's Ambitious Radio Network. Hey, are you thinking of expanding your business but don't want to spend tens of thousands of dollars on a new phone system? Consider Grasshopper.com. You get to keep your existing number, you have multiple extensions, voicemails transcribed, and no new hardware. Grasshopper.com is the entrepreneur's phone system. Let's get back to the show with Doug Parker.
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and today we've got Pedro Chiamulera. No.
Yes.
I got it that time. Woo! All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm getting excited, man. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at this. All right. So here we go. Let's talk a little bit about transitions. Let's talk about how you transitioned from being an athlete. And I don't know the answer to this because I've never been very athletic, but what was that like? I mean, because you were at the pinnacle of all. I mean, you were an Olympian, one of the best in the world. And then, people mature, their bodies change, things happen, and sports are a young person's sport for the most part. So, what did that transition? What was that like for you, transitioning from being a world-class athlete to I'm still athletic, but I got to change things? And then, how did you transition that into your business life? And then, kind of talk to us a little bit about kind of what's next for you and how you go through that decision-making process.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was my athletic life is up to 32. I had to fulfill my dream to go to the Olympics. But after that, I was confident that I could do something because one of my biggest talents is to be creative and to do things out of the box, to be very different. So I worked for a company 1 year, and I said, well, this company is kind of because I was putting more passion into the job than the owner of the company. Then I decided to go, oh gosh, now I'm going to open a company, because I thought it was easy. So because of my optimistic view, I said, well, I'm going to start doing some freelance here, doing some programming for this kind of stuff. And then the way I was doing, because I was very creative, everything that people was telling me to do, I had an idea to do in software. So I started to do a lot of software, but one main software we designed was anti-fraud software, because I got a demand from online companies. Said, well, I have this problem here, fraud prevention. And I told the guy, gosh, I know how to solve this problem. and the guy told me, then write me a proposal. And then I wrote a lot of ideas how the software would work. But I didn't even know how to use this technology, which technology we would say. And then I asked him, which technologies we should use? And they told him, SQL and Visual Basic. And I wrote down. And then I sent him the proposal. And 2 days later, he told me, wow, you were approved. I said, wow, gosh, now I have to hire somebody to do it. And then I started.
Well, now hold on for a second. Now I got to hear a little bit more about this. So you're saying that, you just went out there and you just said, hey, I want to do this. Let me put in a bid for you. And you put in a bid. You talked to somebody. They said MySQL and Visual Basic, and you didn't even know nothing about it. You submitted a proposal, and then they gave you the approval.
Yeah, because I had before doing some freelance for them, some programming, because the way I was doing for them, they felt my commitment to solve the problem. I didn't worry about making money. My passion was to solve the problem, to make it work. It was like in a piece of art. I was writing software very easily for the people at the end to use. So people knew a little bit of my work. And then when I asked me for the proposal, I said, well, I was not a technical guy, because my talent was to put the technology in the business, but the technology was more updated, and I didn't know that technology. So I asked the guy, what do you think is going to be the best technology to use here? And because of the ideas, the guy, oh, use that one. But I didn't tell the guy that I didn't know the technology. I just wrote the proposal and say, well, I'm going to deliver this to you, no matter the technology, but the idea here is going to work to solve your problem. And that point on, I got the proposal. It was very exciting, because I had to run after a guy to write the code. That's why the optimistic to be to say no problem, you're gonna solve this problem is good, because to be entrepreneur, you have to do crazy things like that.
Well, hey, now I want to talk about that for just a minute, because here's the thing. So many people out there, they want everything perfect. And unfortunately, life is not perfect. It'll never be perfect. And if you wait till it's perfect to do it, it doesn't work out. But as an entrepreneur, now, obviously, you have to be honorable and follow through on stuff. But the bottom line is that you had a relationship with them and they trusted you. And you said, hey, we'll figure out the details later. But right now, I'm going to write a proposal and we're going to go to work. And then we'll figure it out, and then we'll make it right. We'll make that happen. And that was the start of this company now that I'm making it. I'm assuming it's a millions of dollars a company. You've got 700 employees plus. I mean, it all came from just taking a risk and jumping out there and doing that.
Yeah, that's right, Doug. It started with a small proposal, but the guy knew me. That's why we always say in company, you have to trust people as a person before as a professional, because they knew my commitment, my love to do, my creativity. But I told him, gosh, what technology is going to fit for you better? But I had a plan. I had how to do it. I showed them before that I could do it. So that's you're right, very right. Sometimes people, they say, wow, I gotta be perfect to sell something. But you're not perfect. You don't know anything. But if you have an open mind, you are willing to do anything you can to solve the problem, people will feel that you are trustworthy, and they're gonna get together to you. That's why it's very important for entrepreneur to trust. That's why when we have so many obstacles here, but I always tell my people and my clients, Ash, we know how to solve the problem. We're gonna go through this together as a team. So that's why with this switch from an athlete, because to be my best in an athlete, I had a team to support me. Even being a individual game like track and field, I had a team to support me. And then the success of the company is to have a very good team to support you. And the way we deal here is like we give them freedom and support for them to make mistake. You're not perfect, but you have to learn. You have to be transparent so that the people that will work with you, they will notice. They're gonna feel that you are trustworthy. I think that's very important in any business. In life.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And we are nearing the end of this segment, but I do want to do one thing. If you could, can you talk a little bit about mentoring and the importance of that? Because I know in the pre-show kind of preparation, you talked a little bit about that, and it may be 60 seconds on the importance of it and how you go about getting your mentors and mentorship.
Yeah, we belong to an entity here, Endeavor, and they have this mentoring, more professional mentoring. When we have some questions, we go to these very high-level people that give us some advice. But I think my best mentor is to listen to people, to normal people, and to be open to everything. There is no such a thing that's right or wrong. You have to feel the context and to see what makes sense for the people at the end. If the thing I'm doing, it makes sense to the end user, to the people, it will make their life better. And then by making that question and everything, you listen to people, you let your intuition to work. That's why I use my intuition, and then the next day I'm gonna have a solution. I think that's the way I try to decide the things. Listen to people, be open, and have some expertise, but mainly to feel what is right for the people.
You know what? That is great information for our ambitious listeners. And, we're going to, again, hear a brief word from our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them, and we hate the break, but we have to do that. After this, no worries at all, but we'll hear a brief word from them, and then we'll be right back with Pedro, and he'll be talking more about what he does to recharge his ambitious body, mind, and spirit right here on the Ambitious Radio Network.
Here's another RepairMyCreditNow.com story.
It's a day this family had dreamed of for quite some time. They were finally getting that brand new SUV. The salesperson at the auto dealership gave them the keys and told them to take it for the weekend. He'd prepared the documents and called them Monday morning. The kids had already installed the headrest DVD when the phone rang. Seems there was a problem with their credit they were unaware of. They'd have to return the SUV to the dealership immediately. Embarrassing, to say the least.
www.repairmycreditnow.com.
Hello, this is Doug Parker with RepairMyCreditNow.com. Do you have less than perfect credit, a repo, maybe some late payments, a collection account? Are they being reported accurately? Studies show that over 70% of Americans have inaccuracies on their credit reports. Where do you fit in? Go to RepairMyCreditNow.com for your free credit report evaluation. And remember, your credit is your future. If you want to get started now, log on now. RepairMyCreditNow.com.
RepairMyCreditNow.com. www.repairmycreditnow.com.
And we're back in here on the show. It's Ambitious Radio Network, recharging the ambitious mind, body, and spirit, made possible by RepairMyCreditNow.com. Having bad credit can be really draining. It's okay to not be okay as long as you're on the road to being okay. Let RepairMyCreditNow.com help get you back on track. Many of our ambitious listeners prefer to listen to books as opposed to reading them. Now, with that, we've teamed up with Audible.com to offer you one free audiobook. Just go to ambitiousradio.com, click on the Audible banner on the page to find out more. Back to the show now with Doug Parker.
All right, we're back on the Ambitious Radio Network, and I have really enjoyed hearing from Pedro and his story about coming from, a family of 10 kiddos, and, being the youngest, being an Olympian, transitioning into business, and overcoming, obstacles and pushing through stuff. It has really been great, and you are quite an ambitious man, Pedro. Let's talk a little bit about, recharging. What does your daily, schedule look like? What's your daily, mode of operation? Do you have a rhythm that you're in? And, how do you recharge? So what does an average day look like for you? Do you get up at a certain time and go to bed at a certain time?
Yeah, the thing is, I get some exercise now. My routine every day, I do some exercise to recharge. I think you lift your body, you wake up. It's very important. And then Monday and Tuesday, I have meeting the whole day, and then I talk to people, strategy, what's where we going, the products, the people, and then these 2 days is more focused on people inside the company. Then I have a lot of meetings, I talk a lot of people, and then I love to talk to people. And then one thing that's recharging me is how we connect values in your business. Like sometimes we have a problem here in the company to solve, and then we go back in the bottom of it, the essence. What we want to do with this? How are we going to solve this problem? Freedom. Yeah, how are we going to make our clients more free to do their business? And then we talk in the values in your company and the way we do business here for them. And then sometimes people say, "Well, Pedro, they're going to go away." And I say, wow, if they feel free that they can go away anytime, they're gonna trust us more, because they think that they're not hostage to our business. So that's very rewarding for me, how to use our values every day, human values as a freedom, trust in between the people, and how that can translate that to the professional life in the company and to your clients. I think that's very rewarding, because you see people growing as a person, and then the business grow, and it's very rewarding. I love to do that. And then, Doug, one thing we do here in the company, we stop one day a week, and then people, they have to turn off everything, and they get together and they sing and they do art, so that they get together as a human being, no matter the power, the hierarchy, so that they have this human touch. And that's the value we are exercising every day in the company, to take it to the business and take it to the society. And we work with fraud, and it's a big challenge in here in Brazil, and the people's life. It makes a huge damage in the country and in the world. And we have a mission. We have a mission to get rid of the fraud. And the way we do it, to involve the people, it's very rewarding, because authenticity is something it's a way to be happy. So it's kind of very philosophical, but that's the way I recharge myself, because we're doing things here in company we're making money, we're making people's lives better, and we are growing as a human being, as a society, and getting everything better.
Sure. Now, when it comes to, you talked about turning everything off, kind of unplugging. You guys do that corporately, and then you said you sing and you do some art. And so, how long is that on that day when you do it?
Yeah, it's 1 hour a week.
Okay. And
then people, they are free to do whatever they want. They have some groups, different kind of groups. They get together by similarity, and they have. Sometimes you get people to go in the big room, and we talk everybody together, and there are a lot of dynamics, so that they can get this connected to each other to be a better human being. So that's very, very nice. And that's why I say, people in the company, I have a lot of fun in the company because I'm always making movie. Sometimes that's happening. We don't separate the person and the professional. We always take it as a unique, as a one single thing, and it's a very rewarding. It's a lot of fun to work here.
It sounds like it. So you said you don't separate the person and the profession.
Yeah, that's the philosophy, because we believe inside the profession there's a person, and the big part of the person is the professional. So we don't have to treat the person as, oh, you're here just to do this. We have to embrace him, because at the bottom line, if he's not feeling well with himself, he's not a be productive. We have to embrace him as a whole. I think it's very difficult sometimes because you have goals to reach. But if you don't listen to the person as a person before the professional, it's not gonna be sustainable in the long run. That's why I think it's working, because this week we just got the 6th year in a row, the Great Place to Work. It was very exciting for us to be 6th year in a row to get this trophy, GPA, Great Place to Work. Do you know that?
Absolutely, that is great. Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment. It's the people. It's always about culture. Whenever those best places to work, they do those surveys, and the reality is that it always has to do with culture. The people you hire, the people that you let stay around. And you said it in the first segment, I think it was, that people that don't fit in, they kind of fire themselves pretty quick. And they move on down the road and move on to another opportunity or whatever the case is. But we've got just a couple of minutes left, and so can you talk just maybe a little bit about personally what you like to do? I know you talked about exercise. Now, do you have places you like to vacation, and how does that work-life balance work for you? Are you able to go and unplug and take vacations every year, or are you a workaholic? What's your life like on that front?
Oh yeah, I like to work a lot, but I have my family. I have 3 kids, and I love to travel with them. And then I work here a lot, but I have a very good team. Like ClearSale Miami has a very excellent team. They are taking over the U.S. operation. I don't have to worry about, because I give freedom to people to work. So that gives me time to do other things that I love. Like over the weekend, I do over the beach, because I love ocean, and then I do sand castle. I do a lot of moving sand on the beach, and I do a lot of arts on the beach, and then I have a lot of fun. Then I like reading also. Every time I'm enjoying myself. I think sometimes people get kind of annoying, get upset with me, because I'm always happy. I'm always having fun of myself. I'm always entertaining myself, and that's the way I work my work day, and then my family. But sometimes I'm so excited about a team like that I forget the other contacts. Like when I have go to US, I'm talking to our clients in the US. I get so excited about that I forget usually that I have the Brazilian branch. So when I'm with people, I'm very intense, and then that's why I take very joy what I do.
Well, that is great stuff. Now, we're nearing the end of the show, and I hate that that's the case, because I feel like we could go on for hours just having this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Doug.
You are so welcome. I do have kind of 2 other questions. Number one is, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice at any point during your life, what would that advice be? And at what point in your life were you? What were you doing? What age were you? Those kinds of things. And then the second question, as you kind of wrap that one up, would be, are you social? Are you out there on the internet? If somebody wanted to interact with you or utilize your services, how would they go about doing that? So if you could wrap that up for us, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. One thing that I did was when I got in the United States, because I graduated in the United States, I was very pick on me. I had to be perfect. I had to be always be the best. And I learned that you're not perfect. You have to be relaxed on yourself. You have to take it easy. You have to laugh at yourself, because life it's not what the success outside. It's what you have inside. You have to be your friend, and you don't have to push yourself too much. You have to be what you are and to do your best. But don't get anxiety about what other people are waiting for you. That's why a very advice I would give myself, like when I was 20 years old, as an athlete, and then after that. And the last question is, I forgot now.
It's just if are you on the internet if people wanted to interact with you or use your company? How would they do that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, if you go, you have a lot of videos about me on YouTube, doing a lot of crazy stuff in the company because we do a lot of arts here. And then I have my Facebook, this is Pedro Chiamulera, Chiamulera. But I think you're gonna put it. You can, and then we can connect. I very in the LinkedIn. I very connect in the LinkedIn, and I love social because the way you connect to different people all the time. The world now is connecting people, and I try to tell my people here, don't be afraid to be in the social networks. Take advantage of it because it's a very good channel to be in it. So I'm very social. I'll be there and I'll be very glad to connect to people.
That is great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, sir.
Yeah, Doug, I have to thank you because every time I talk to people as smart as you, because you you open my mind to talk other things to give me some reflection about my life. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, sir. I really, truly do appreciate it. What a great interviewee you were, and I've just enjoyed it so much. And guys, tune in on Wednesdays to Ambitious Radio, where we interview thought leaders and folks that are entrepreneurs and are changing the faces of their organizations. Remember, you can make money or you can make excuses, but you cannot make both. So go out there and be ambitious.
Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Radio Network, hosted by serial entrepreneur Doug Parker. Join us weekly as we have engaging conversations with ambitious entrepreneurs and thought leaders on topics that can be applied immediately after listening. Like what you've heard? Listen to other interviews at ambitiousradio.com or subscribe on iTunes.